is Pakou Kang. I am from Minnesota and my site is in Jangwat Surat Thani. I'm in group 128 and I'm a TCCS volunteer. I identify as a female Hmong American. So I joined the Peace Corps for a number of reasons. I won't go into too much details, but one of them is that after my AmeriCorps service, I didn't really feel ready to go back to school or get a steady job. I don't know, it was just, I felt that there was something missing. I needed to challenge myself or do something new. And so I decided I wanted to do the Peace Corps. And number two, I also wanted to explore Asia a little and do something cool and at the same time worthwhile. Thailand happened to match up with my timeline at the moment, and so I just went for it. And number three is because of my mom. She grew up without an education simply because she was female. She and my dad both grew up in the Hmong villages in Laos. And during those times, things were still very traditional. Boys got to go to school and girls didn't, especially if like the families were poor. So because of this, my mom often talks to me and my sibling about how much she values education. And so she is the main reason I am invested in my service in the schools with the children and in promoting gender equality, gender development with my community. Well, highlights in my service tend to happen when I just kind of like force myself to socialize. I don't really like to do that, but because, I just rather be curled up in bed, and it's just so easy and comforting to hermit, But one day I forced myself to go out to town, and I'm getting my coffee, and all of a sudden I get this craving for mangoes. And that's mainly because right outside of the coffee shop there's this lady selling mangoes, and so I start thinking about the mangoes and I start wanting the mangoes. And I usually don't like to expose myself as a foreigner, but my need for mango is too strong, so I mustered up the courage to just like go up to her and ask her for the price of her mangoes. And immediately she knows that I'm not Thai, and she starts speaking to me in English. And I was so surprised. And so we start talking about why I was there, where I was teaching, and where I was from. And eventually I left with free mangoes. And that was pretty sweet. Because I'm Asian American, my community often refers to me as their daughter. As nice as that sounds, I feel like looking like a Thai person boxes me in, and it prevents me from having the same privilege and control as a non-Asian PCV. At one point during my service, I got told to serve drinks to these important male guests during a school event. And I know this, like female teachers are always serving drinks whenever there is a guest at the school. It's a totally like sexist thing. I know this, but I was still really offended and uncomfortable when I was asked to perform these tasks. This happened, and I am 100% sure it happened because I am a young female Asian American. Of course I have other issues too, like I'm always being introduced as, hey, this is Pakou, who is American and also speaks English. I am just not as exciting to show off compared to if I was a white volunteer. And that's okay. That's something that of course, it's something that will always offend me when it comes up, but I am also completely over everything. Other than that, it's good that I blend in and I have privacy because of it. I have to assert my identity and justify it all the time, and sometimes I get annoyed of explaining myself like 10,000 times, and people still don't get what an indigenous community or an ethnic minority is. But still, service has made me more appreciative of my own culture and of being Hmong. This might sound kind of sad, but service has made me realize just how discriminated indigenous communities are, not just in Thailand, but throughout the world. With problems at sight, I usually just bury it inside of me until I'm numb, and then I just move on. When I'm not burying my issues, I usually do the complete opposite and I try to face the issue head on. At the same time, also be firm and flexible. I know we are all here with purpose, and that makes it difficult for us to jai but keep in mind that we can't help those that don't help themselves. Whenever I'm stressed out at sight, I just like to be alone. Sometimes I'll travel a little bit and talk to a few people, but usually that's enough to rejuvenate me, and then I am good to go again. Peace Corps Thailand is definitely a challenge. I questioned myself about it many times during my service, but I always remember my own personal reasons for being here. Plus, I also threatened myself with failure, and I don't like failing. So, my advice to future and fellow PCVs is that your service is what you make of it. So, find something you love and cling on to it, basically. I just finished reading Howl's Moving Castle, and I loved it. Right now I'm rereading The Alchemist, and I am going to read The Spirit Catches You and You Fall.
Have you eaten yet?